From childhood, we are conditioned to believe that perseverance is the ultimate virtue. Every story and every role model tells us to grip our goals tighter, even as the rope frays and our hands bleed. For a young person navigating intense emotions and societal expectations, this relentless focus on a single outcome often turns toxic. The determination to succeed transforms into a refusal to acknowledge reality. This pressure creates a specific type of tragedy found on prestigious campuses and even among successful civil servants. Individuals who appear to have everything, yet find themselves unable to cope when life deviates from their script. Intelligence and work ethic aren't the missing ingredients here. These high achievers suffer because they haven't developed the psychological mechanism to release a burden that has become too heavy to carry. Confusing healthy persistence with a toxic, unyielding attachment creates a psychological vulnerability. When the stakes are this high, failing to learn the art of release can lead to a total emotional collapse. To navigate these stakes, we have to recognize a life-saving distinction: the difference between giving up and letting go. Giving up is a form of surrender that keeps the pain intact. You stop trying to reach the goal, but you continue to carry the resentment, the damaged ego, and the bitterness of the failure. We see this in the story of a 40-year-old man who experienced a single romantic betrayal in his youth. He eventually stopped looking for a partner, but he never actually moved past the hurt. He trapped himself in a logic of illicit generalization, assuming that because one person was dishonest, everyone else must be as well. He stopped moving forward completely, yet he remained tethered to the very pain he was trying to avoid. Giving up is essentially psychological paralysis. You allow the memory of a past failure to anchor you in place, letting resentment dictate the boundaries of your future. Letting go is the active, conscious removal of a desire or a burden from your mind. It is the ability to look at a situation that is no longer serving you and simply decide to leave it behind. In modern relationships, this requires applying a democratic principle to our human interactions. Just as you have the democratic right to propose a relationship, the other person has an absolute democratic right to reject it. Respecting your own freedom means logically accepting theirs. There is a poetic standard for these moments. If a situation cannot be brought to a successful conclusion, give it a beautiful turn and walk away. You leave it behind without a trail of toxicity. This level of release is only possible when you decouple your own self-worth from the free choices of another person. History offers examples of this enlightened release, perhaps most famously in the story of Yashodhara and the Buddha. Yashodhara's struggle was rooted in a lack of trust. She was pained by the fact that Buddha had left for his mission in the middle of the night without a word, as if she were an obstacle to be avoided rather than a partner to be trusted. Yet when he eventually returns as an enlightened monk, Yashodhara makes a sacrifice of her own ego. She sets aside her years of abandonment and hands over their son to join him, acknowledging his path as something greater than her own grievances. We see a similar shift in the literary evolution of Radha. In modern interpretations, her character moves past weeping in isolation to a state where she actively wishes Krishna well in his work for the world, despite her own heartbreak. Human maturity reaches its peak when we realize that our personal attachments should never become a barrier to someone else's growth or purpose. Mastering the art of letting go provides a filter for your daily experiences. It allows you to process rejections and failures as simple data points rather than personal attacks on your core identity. Consider the mathematical reality of the UPSC exams. With 500,000 applicants competing for just 1,000 positions, statistics are weighted heavily against you. When non-selection is the norm for 499,000 people, tying your self-worth to that outcome is a trap. You have to separate your value as a person from a number in a database. A backup plan isn't a lack of dedication, it's a necessary safety net for the mind. It ensures that if one path closes, your entire sense of self doesn't collapse with it. Ambition always provides the initial drive to start, but without a proper psychological release valve, that same ambition can turn your life into a mental prison. This resilience is especially vital in the digital age, where a single mistake can lead to public trolling and an overwhelming sense of permanent shame. While the weight of public failure feels crushing in the moment, it is important to remember that these intense periods of anxiety are temporary. They will eventually fade. Navigating life effectively requires us to stop fearing the unpredictable and often unfair turns that our journeys might take. There is a final, simple mantra for these moments. Why fear what will happen in life? If nothing else, you will gain experience. True success is found in the robustness of the mind, the ability to pursue your goals with everything you have,